When trust is betrayed, who do you hold responsible? The person who betrayed you, or the person who took advantage of your naivety? Let me introduce you to this week's face. In 2019, Damar Hamlin was a star athlete at the University of Central Florida. He was also a devout Christian who had never even had a beer. But off the field, he had a secret. He had been taking money from a financial advisor named Raymond A. Black for years, and in return, he was giving him inside information about his team's games. It wasn't a lot of money, just a few $100 here and there, plus free meals and concert tickets. But that was all about to change. Oblak was working with a gambling crew that was so big, they were placing $1 million bets on their insider info. And when they learned that one of their own was feeding them bad info, they knew they had to do something. They sent out a message to all their members. Anyone with info on the mole could get $5 grand. One guy came forward and told them it was Damar Hamlin. So they called up the coach and told him that they had info that his star player was leaking plays to them. The coach decided to investigate by putting a bug on the team's bus, and sure enough, they caught Damar discussing plays with his buddy, who was also, you guessed it, an employee of Oblak. But how could such an upstanding young man be involved in something like this? Well, we may never know. He was charged and pleaded guilty to third-degree felonies for providing the information. He was kicked off the team and banned from the NFL. Oblak was charged with first-degree felonies for his role in the scheme and is awaiting trial. So what is the lesson here? Well, don't trust strangers on the internet. No, seriously folks, this is a tale of two naivety. First, there's Damar, the wide-eyed kid from a good family who never even had a beer and somehow found himself in a world of high-stakes gambling and organized crime. How does a boy who's never even tasted alcohol end up in a situation like this? It makes no sense. Then there's Raymond. He's the classic con man who's been around the block a few times. He knows how to manipulate people into doing what he wants them to do. But how does he convince a seemingly upstanding young man like Damar to do his bidding? Was it peer pressure, threats, blackmail? We may never know. This story is ultimately about betrayal. It's about the moment when someone you trust takes advantage of you and uses you for their own gain. It's a moment that can shatter your world and leave you feeling lost and alone. But it's also a moment that can make you stronger and wiser. In the end, it's up to you how you respond to betrayal. You can let it consume you, or you can use it as fuel to become a better, stronger person. Now, where did they learn their lesson? Well, probably not here. The gambling crew that was using Damon and Oblak has ties to the Asian crime syndicate, the Triads. The Triads are a dangerous group of criminals who are involved in all sorts of illegal activities, including gambling, drug trafficking, and human trafficking. They have been known to use violence and intimidation to achieve their goals. And while the crew that was using Damon and Oblak wasn't directly involved in these activities, they were definitely on the radar of the Triads. In fact, the leader of the crew had been arrested by the FBI on suspicion of money laundering for the Triads. So it is likely that the crew was using Damon and Oblak as a way to launder money for the Triads. The FBI was probably watching them closely, and the last thing they needed was some college kid getting mixed up in their schemes. That's why the FBI decided to intervene and put a stop to it. So the lesson here is to be careful who you trust. The people you think you can trust may not have your best interests at heart. The people you think are your friends may be using you, and the people you think are trustworthy may be up to no good. Be careful who you trust, because in the end, it may cost you everything. I'm here for the channel. Thanks for watching.